Hi everyone, it's Avril here and welcome to day 4 of Reinvent You. So I will give it a few minutes to see if anybody's jumping on. I'm not sure who's going to be on today. I know it's a rather wet day and there's lots of voting going on just now, so I'm not sure how many people will actually make it. But it's wonderful to be here on day 4, and I'm hoping that you're not all too fed up with the awful weather that we're experiencing right now. I can't believe it's chucking it down outside. I was volunteering at the school sports day today and got absolutely soaked. Anyway, so who's just jumped on? I'm going to go and see if I'm doing my best to check in. Oh, hello Lynn, so good to see you, and Avril, hi. Thank you for joining me. I hope if you've been managing to catch the live feeds that I'm just checking in. Avril, hi. I hope you've been enjoying them. They've been quite interesting for me to do because I've not really been used to doing the live streaming, so I've been a little bit nervous this week doing all the live streams, but I'm starting to warm up to it a bit. So, hello everybody. Who else? Anybody else joining us? So it's just Avril and Lynn at the moment, and Avril saying buckets of rain. Avril, we were absolutely soaked at sports day today. All the kids were absolutely wringing, soaking wet through. Couldn't believe how wet it was. I actually thought they were going to cancel it, but they didn't. But hey ho, we were troopers. Oh, thanks Lynn, thanks, I really appreciate that. So we'll just give it a couple of seconds and I'll think about what other things I can rant about apart from getting soaking wet at sports day today. But believe it or not, the kids were still actually smiling, so it just goes to show you, as long as they're having fun, it doesn't really matter what the weather's like. So, well, today we are going to be talking about beliefs and how important having a healthy and aligned set of beliefs about who we are is to reinventing yourself. And one of the things that always strikes me as so powerful are the stories that people tell themselves. When I'm working with clients, one of the first things that people do is they sit down and then they just start telling me all these stories that they have about themselves, about all the stuff that's going on in their lives, but also about all the things that they think about themselves. And it's a powerful thing, having thoughts and beliefs about ourselves. And I don't think we truly appreciate how powerful some of these thoughts and beliefs are, and how much they actually shape and influence our lives. So today I just want to chat a little bit about thoughts and beliefs, and being really careful about the thoughts and beliefs that you carry about yourself. You know, most of the thoughts and most of the beliefs that we have, they don't actually belong to us. They're usually beliefs that we've taken on board from other people, mainly our parents, or certainly some of the key role models we had growing up. And often these beliefs are not beliefs that we've created for ourselves about who we are and who we want to be in the world. They're usually beliefs that we've created and we've taken on from other people. And as we grow up and move into adulthood, those beliefs and those thoughts shape who we become. And I think that's quite a phenomenal thing, that it's almost as if we become powerless around those beliefs that we have. Like, it's almost like we don't learn to own these beliefs. And one of the important things when you're reinventing yourself is taking the time to sit down and look at the current belief structures that you have about yourself and the kind of thoughts that you're thinking day in and day out, and ask yourself whether or not these are actually yours, or are these thoughts and beliefs that you've taken on board because someone else has actually given you them. You know, maybe handed them down to you when you were a child, and it was so long ago, and you just got so used to believing that about yourself that you actually believe them to be true. When we're reinventing any aspect of our life, it's absolutely critical to sit down and really review these beliefs and ask yourself why you have them. If we don't do that, then we can find ourselves just going back into old patterns, back into old behaviours. And the question I always try and remind myself of is that if I'm not shaping my beliefs and using my beliefs to design my life, my world, or create whatever it is that I want to create, if I'm not taking power of that and owning that, then somebody else is, which ultimately means that in a sense I'm giving away a part of me to someone else to design my life. And that's quite a powerless place to be. And when it's happening at an unconscious level, it can become quite devastating. Especially when we are in situations when we've maybe made mistakes or got things wrong, or we're not making the right decisions about our lives. We can hold that against ourselves. And then we can start to believe things like, well, I'm not capable of making the right decisions in my life, or I'm not capable of being responsible, or I always make mistakes with things. And when we start holding these beliefs about ourselves as true, we can become stuck and we never move forward. And what's more is it's not just the beliefs, it's the thoughts that reinforce these beliefs. So if I make a mistake, which I have made hundreds in my life, I've made tiny, tiny little mistakes, and I've made big, massive, monumental mistakes. But if we make a mistake or do something wrong or make the wrong decision or get involved in the wrong situation, then spend, I don't know, months, maybe years, kind of beating ourselves up for making that mistake through the thoughts that we have about ourselves, then what's happening is we just constantly reinforce that belief. So all our beliefs are reinforced about the thoughts that we have about ourselves, and all the thoughts that we have about ourselves are reinforced by the beliefs that we hold of ourselves. And most of this comes externally. So when we're reinventing ourselves, we've got to learn to take complete control of that. You know, I advise people to periodically sit down in their lives and just check in with their belief system. Does that belief still hold true for me today? You know, is that a belief that someone else gave me? What would I like to believe instead? And most of the time, what we're telling ourselves isn't true. It's like the past. The past isn't true anymore, and neither are our beliefs or thoughts. They're things that have been given to us, or things we've made up about ourselves in our mind. And like I say about everything, if it's not tangible, if it's not something you can hold here in this moment, then it isn't actually true. It's a story that you're making up and rerunning over and over and over again. And you have the power to choose in any moment to just stop that story. Just stop it in its tracks. Change those thoughts that you have about yourself and change those beliefs. Now, I am not for a minute suggesting that you start using lots of fancy affirmations or anything like that, because I'm not convinced, maybe that's just a belief, I'm not convinced that positive affirmations actually work. I think what has to happen is that you have actually got to believe that thing about yourself first before you're then able to take it on board. And that's why it's important to do the work around your belief system. What is it I want to believe about myself? What new beliefs do I want to start creating in order to be this person that I want to be, in order to reinvent who I am? And when you get clear on those beliefs that you want to have, then you can start acting and doing things to reinforce those beliefs, which in turn will begin to change your thinking of yourself. So if I want to have a belief that I am a charitable person, and that's a new belief, I've maybe never been charitable in my life before, so this is a new belief I want to create for myself. I don't just start saying I'm a charitable person. What I have to do is I have to be and do things that act in accordance with that belief in order for it to take hold of me and become real. If I'm just doing it on a mind level, on a conscious level, by saying an affirmation, then it doesn't sink down deep into my unconscious mind and take hold and help to create who I really am. So if you want to change the beliefs you have about yourself, and the thinking that you have about yourself, the thoughts that you have about yourself, then you've got to align both these parts. So as well as deciding on what new beliefs you want to have, you've got to act on that. You've got to be that thing and do that thing. So if I want to be a charitable person, then I have to go out there and do that very thing that's going to make me believe that I am that person. So if I want to have confidence, I've got to go out there and do the very things that will give me confidence, so as I believe that I'm a confident person. And that's the thing I think people miss when it comes to changing our thoughts and beliefs about ourselves. A lot of people think that if I just think positively, everything will work out. If I just think good thoughts, I'll be fine. But if you just think good thoughts or think positively, but deep down inside, you're holding on to negative beliefs or negative ideas about yourself, then nothing's ever going to change. So if you want to really reinvent the story that you're telling yourself, then you've got to live that story. You've got to be it and do it each and every day, so as that you reinforce it at a deep unconscious level. So you're working on it at this conscious level, at mind level, but also at the deeper part of who you are. And that's what I call being in alignment with yourself. If I have a negative belief about myself, no amount of positive thinking is going to change that. No matter how hard I work, at some point, that belief will begin to leak out of me. Whether that's in my behaviours or the energy that I'm giving out around me, it's in some way it will begin to leak out. It's so key and so important to remember this when you're looking at working on your own belief system. So I guess my tip for you today when it comes to reinventing you and changing all these beliefs and thoughts that you have, and is to choose one thing a day or a week. It doesn't matter how often, just choose one thing, that one belief that you've had about yourself for a long, long time, whether it is that I'm not good enough, or I'm not capable, or I'm not intelligent, or I'm not any good at learning, or whatever that belief is that you have about yourself. I want you to take time out and have a good look at that belief and start asking yourself, where did this belief come from? Is this a belief that I own for me? Is this a belief about myself that I created? And then once you get clear on where that belief has come from, I want you to ask yourself, is this a belief that is going to serve me in this new life, these new experiences that I'm creating for myself? Is it going to serve me? And if it is, by all means, keep a hold of it. And if it isn't, whether it's one you've created for yourself or one that you've taken on board as a result of other people's perceptions and thoughts of you, and once you decide that you want to create something else, go out and start collecting evidence to support that belief, that new belief that you're creating, so as that you can reinforce it at a deep level to the point where it becomes unconscious and it just happens. So if it was that you didn't believe you were any good at learning, or you're not clever, or you're not, it seems to be a massive belief that people carry, that one, then what I want you to do is to go and remember all the things that you've learned recently, whether that's you've learned to drive, or learned to swim, or you've learned the lyrics of a song. It doesn't matter what it is. And I want you to start tracking all the skills and knowledge that you've learned, so as you can begin to build up evidence that you are good at learning. And you can do that with any belief. It doesn't matter what it is. If I'm holding a belief that I am not a good person and I want to change that, and maybe that's a belief that you hold deep down inside, that you're not a good enough person, or you're not a good person, and you want to hold a new belief that you are a good person, then just go out and find all the evidence that supports that you are a good person, and remind yourself of all that evidence, and then just keep acting in accordance with that and reinforcing that positive belief that you have about yourself. And then you can start to change your thinking, and you can start using affirmations, but in a different way, in a way that they are aligned to this new belief structure that you're creating. I'm learning to be a good person every day. Every day I am getting better at learning new things. And that's a much more empowering way, and a much more effective way of changing your thinking and changing your belief systems than using, traditional positive affirmations, like looking in the mirror and saying, I am a good person, I am wonderful, I'm a brilliant learner, because they just don't work like that. They really don't work in isolation. They've got to be aligned to that belief structure that you hold deep down in there. So, all those thoughts that you have going on in your head, They're just stories that you're telling yourself. Remember that. At any time, you can choose to stop and begin to tell yourself a different story. But first, you've got to go in and have a look at your beliefs and decide what it is that you want to believe about yourself. And only then can you go and begin to create that new story based on this new belief system. Your thoughts are just thoughts. And you've got the choice to allow those thoughts to run away with themselves and get your mind into all sorts of trouble. So, thank you everybody, and I see, I'm just looking here, kind of got carried away there as I do. I'm just looking here and I can see Avril. Hi Avril, thanks for joining, and I can see Jennifer. Hello. I don't know if you've had sports day today, Jennifer, but we had it over here in Fife and we were all absolutely soaking this morning. I'm loving the little thumbs up. I am slowly getting used to the Facebook Live and keeping up with everybody. Remember, if there's anything that you want to share, maybe any tips that you have when it comes to changing your thinking, or experiences that you've had and how changing the way you think has had a positive effect on you, then please share away. And feel free to put up comments. I will get back. Yesterday I had a whole load of messages coming in, and I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. I didn't expect that, so that's been really nice. And I'm getting lots of positive feedback from people who have downloaded my book and read it already. Well, it is only a short book, and it was designed to be short. I don't believe that change, we have to, read encyclopedias in order to change. I do believe that there's some key steps, key things that we can do in our lives consciously. And if we're aligned with them, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, if we're aligned with these things, then we can experience change in a relatively quick period of time, but we've got to have that commitment that I spoke about on Monday. That commitment underpins everything. So, share away. Oh, Jennifer Laidlaw says, hi Jennifer, the other Jennifer, lots of Jennifers in my life. I love it. So, cuddling Erin at the minute. Oh, thanks Jennifer. I really, honestly, I so appreciate the feedback. You have no idea what a little challenge it is actually sitting doing all these Facebook Lives and just talking at a camera. It's the most bizarre experience ever. And hopefully I will get better at it, which means that I'll be able to bring more Facebook Lives on various topics and subjects that are of interest to you guys. So I'm going to leave it here for now. Keep working on it, keep moving forward, stay committed to the process, and trust that even just listening to little videos like this, regardless whether they're me or anybody else, just trust the process that inside things will be changing. They will be changing, and you just need to keep moving forward, and you'll see and feel the difference that you're making to yourself in no time at all. So thank you so much everyone. It's just wonderful that you've popped in and joined me, and I will catch you tomorrow for the final step that I'm sharing with you this week. And well, I was going to say the most important one, but every single one are important. But I'll see you tomorrow anyway for the final step. Have a wonderful afternoon, and if you're here in sunny Scotland, then, or the UK actually, gosh, that was a bit pro-kill, sunny Scotland. Get out there and cast your vote. I shall see you all soon. Thank you. Mwah. Bye. Bye.